Hello there everyone, welcome to the Mike from Maine show where we work together to create and diversify our online multiple sources of income. This is your host Mike Thomas, and today on the show I'm really happy to have Lina Trivedi. Now Lina really has her hands in so many different things. She talks to me today about how back in 1995 she started out working for the Thai corporation with Beanie Babies. So she's been doing this before most of us even had an email account. I think I got mine in 1997. So she's been doing this for a while. And we're going to get into things like auto blogging, curated content, and Amazon sales, and see how we put this all together to make money online. You can check out her website, marketingwithlina.com. Also, I'd like to have you guys check out, I've got my $50 authority starter sites for sale. Each of my sites are $50. You can check them out at mikefrommaine.com/sites. And you can just go in here and check out your niche, date created, how many searches there are in AdWords, cost per click, and so on. And if you have any questions about those, you can just click here and ask me. I'll reveal the URL for you, and we can go from there. So without further ado, here's Lina Trivedi. So we're here with Lina Trivedi. Am I saying that right, Lina?
You are, thank you.
Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
And why don't we start off with you just telling us a little bit about your online marketing background?
My online marketing background, it stems all the way back to 1995. If you can remember,
Wow.
back to 95. The internet was not very commonplace in as far as, households are concerned. It was still yet a medium that was predominantly on college campuses, used to educate, for educational purposes and so to speak. And at that time, I had my job while I was in college. I was working for a company named Thai, which you might remember, the company that made Beanie Babies.
Oh, yeah.
If you recall that craze that took place in the 90s. Yeah. So
Unfortunately, I do.
I'm sorry?
Unfortunately, I do recall that.
Oh, unfortunately. Oh, don't say unfortunately. But that was the first website that I built. I built
Okay.
the first the Thai website, which it was pretty much I did that for about 4 years. Before then, I left there to start my own web company, my own web firm. But it was pretty much a crash course in every aspect of the web when it comes to marketing, when it comes to technical issues, because I was handling the technical aspects of the site. So, as you can imagine, during the height of the Beanie Babies craze, there was a lot of technical considerations with traffic and things like that. And
Yeah.
at that time, a lot of people were still on, we graduated from 14, 4, and 28K modems to like 33 and 56K modems, but a lot of people were still on, the dial-up modems at that time. And we were, we did a lot of things that were really different in comparison to other businesses and how they marketed their products. If you look at, other toy companies such as Mattel or, other popular toy companies, they a lot of times had like sort of like a Rolodex type of website. This is who we are. This is what we do. This is a catalog of our products. But we tried to, be more interactive with our audience and tried to.
What kind of traffic was that site getting at that time? Do you remember?
I just did an interview about that about my work there, and I was asked the same question, and I was trying to remember, and I don't remember. It was so long ago, but I remember that it was an insane amount, and it was enough to where, any little thing that we did, we had to consider if the servers were going to go down, and a lot of times we couldn't foresee
Wow.
if it was going to go down or not because the market, I mean, with Beanie Babies in general, it was really difficult to predict.
Yeah.
So I remember we had a lot of technical issues in terms of server downtime and things like that, and people getting upset and calling. And our phone lines too. Our phone lines, we had so much overages on our phone lines as well. So then I remember that was a consideration too. If we did something on the web and then people would call the 800 numbers, and we had like kids calling or whatever saying that they were upset because the site was down, and then,
Where's my
that
Beanie Babies?
Right, right. And then, that ties up the phone lines from actual orders being placed. So it was a consideration that any marketer would be concerned about,
Definitely.
with trying to allocate resources properly and things like that. Very, very interesting time of my life, very interesting aspect of my career. But
Yeah, well, you got
I,
thrown right in there with a huge company. I mean, you started out
yeah.
big, yeah.
Well, I mean, it wasn't huge when I started. When I
Hmm.
started, there were only 12 employees there. I was the 12th or 13th employee to work
Oh,
there.
wow.
And when I left there was easily over 500.
Hmm.
So, just I worked there for about 8.5, 9 years. So
Wow.
something like that. So, I mean, but that's still an incredible growth curve, even in that amount of time
Lina,
to experience. Yes.
how many Beanie Babies do you own?
That's a funny question because when I was working at Thai, I owned a lot of them because I just kind of acquired them, and
Hmm.
part of my job was to, we built what's called the Info Beanie Diary. So we made like it's almost like a blog on from the perspective of Beanie Babies, so I had to like personify. Oh, I wrote the poems too. So I don't know if
Oh,
you, I didn't mention that. I wrote the poems that are inside the Beanie Babies. So
oh.
I had a real connection with them. So, I would like really like one of them and I'd be like, oh, I have to have that one. So I collected them, but I wasn't like a craze collector where I spent thousands and thousands of dollars on them.
And then that's
I
why
would, but then
that's why when you first mentioned it, I was like, oh no, because I know people that are just
yeah.
crazy about them, and they were just obsessed with getting all the
Hmm.
Beanie Babies they could, and they would go on eBay and spend hundreds, if
Yeah.
not thousands, of dollars on these Beanie Babies.
Right. And eBay was even, or Beanie Babies are credited to being what the fuel was to eBay's popularity, especially at
Ah,
that time. It really got a lot of its members, its jumpstart.
yeah.
So, just from that point, anyway, then, so probably several years after I left Thai,
Hmm.
I had my company. I actually had some valuable Beanie Babies and I sold those for capital in my company, that I needed for my company. I still had some, but then I slowly ended up ridding them all. I had zero of them.
How
But
much were
now that
you
I have,
selling them for? How much were you selling them?
I think, when I needed capital, I think I sold $10,000 worth of Beanie Babies.
How many Beanie Babies was that?
Mm, I don't remember. I mean, it wasn't a lot. I didn't have
Approximately
like a lot of
10,
them,
a
but
100, 1,000.
oh no, maybe like it would have been probably like 20, 25, something like that.
Wow.
I
Okay.
had a lot of the valuable ones.
Cool.
So, but I had been collecting them from the beginning. So
Hmm.
I had some of the older ones that, were considered rare or whatever. So I kind of sold them right at the height of the craze, and is what it is.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
anyway, then I had zero of them. Now I have a 3-year-old daughter, and she keeps getting old Beanie Babies as gifts. So it's almost and from people that have no idea of my connection with Thai. So it's sort of ironic. Like I see them, I'm like, oh, I know which one it is. I know what its item number is. I know what the poem is. It's kind of funny. So now I would say we probably have maybe like 30 or 40 of them.
Well, and
Not even like consciously collecting them, just that have been gifted to my daughter by people who don't even know that I, have a connection with
they're
Beanie
so
Babies.
popular, yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. Okay, so you worked there first, and then you branched off into your own business.
Yeah, I had a web development and marketing firm that I ran for several years,
Hmm.
and then I ended up selling that company, and then I took a hiatus for several years. I wanted to work completely outside of technology, so I worked for the Urban League, which is a nonprofit organization. I worked there for about 4 years, and
Hmm.
then I started up a second web company. So that's what I'm running right now, a web development and marketing firm that I run right now.
Okay. So you have a connection with someone called Hannah SK.
Yeah.
Where's that connection come from?
Well, I often refer to her as my soul sister. We're both very good friends, and we decided to, just work on different products together here
Hmm.
and there. I JV with several people. Hannah is one of my favorite JVs, and, we work really well together. And that's how we met, is we just met off the Warrior Forum.
So you have your own marketing company. What are you? I mean, that can mean so many things. What are you doing there?
It would be considered in today's terms an offline company.
Okay.
I provide web development, marketing, and design services to local businesses, but also beyond. I think most of my larger clients are actually IM companies,
Hmm.
internet marketing companies that have their own websites. I do a lot of design work. I've been on 99 Designs for a long time.
Yeah.
I've won probably the last year about 20 design contests off 99 Designs. It's kind of the place I go when I just have creative juices that I want to
Mhm.
vent, and I go over there and try to win a contest. And then I also offer design work to my clients as well. So, yeah, I have a myriad of different types of services that I offer through my company, which include, design, development,
Mhm.
coding, do a lot of coding work as well as, different marketing sort of projects.
Yeah, it sounds like you've got your hands in a lot of things. How are you making the bulk of your money?
The bulk of my money is probably coming from my offline
Mhm.
business. I'm also a writer, so I get royalties and different things like that from Amazon and, other sites that, sell some of my writing work.
Mhm.
I product creator, have developed products in the Kindle niche as well as offline niche and, as of recently, some different internet marketing related topics. But I would say definitely the bulk of my money comes from clients that I have within my company.
Now you've recently released a plugin as a Warrior special offer called the AutoZone Bot.
Right.
Can you kind of explain what that is?
Yeah, I designed the plug. Well, what the plugin does is it basically works as a scraper. It takes items off of the Amazon website in any
Hmm.
particular niche that a person would want to build a site on. And what makes our plugin unique is that it has these different curation options in it where you can actually embed different content elements into each post. So it's sort of taking, auto blogging
Hmm.
and combining it with some curation elements to make a partially unique blog
Okay,
on
time out,
autopilot.
time out, time
Yeah.
out.
Yeah.
Let's for the people that might not know, can you explain what curation is?
Yeah. Well, curation basically is the act of taking pieces of content from authority websites, quote unquote authority websites, and embedding it within your own original content. So in essence, what we're doing is we're allowing users that employ our plugin into WordPress
Hmm.
to write their own content in one screen. So, it could be a few sentences or a couple paragraphs or whatever,
Okay.
and then you write, several pieces of it. And what our plugin does is it will randomize, the pieces of content that you wrote and embed it with the information that comes from Amazon. So you can have like some content before or after the content that comes from Amazon, or just before or just after. It's really flexible in terms of how you use it. But the idea is that you're creating a blog that has partially unique content in it. And
Okay.
then what I do with my sites is I update that content pretty regularly. Like, every couple months I'll go in and I'll scrap all the content that I wrote and put new content in there so that new posts that come in will have fresh content. And I build even though it's automatic,
Uh-huh.
I build and this is just my own preference. I mean, people can, the options on on the plugin itself, it allows you to build posts daily if you want to.
Hmm.
Actually, several times a day if you want to. But I sort of prefer to build posts weekly, so I just have mine typically set at just, 2 or 3 posts a week at the most. And that way it allows me an opportunity to kind of go in and look at what came in and make edits to it if I want to. And I have people in my office that actually sort of oversee it as well, just to make sure that, feeds are not always 100% reliable.
Yeah.
There might be a piece of a product in there that I don't necessarily want to promote, or
Hmm.
even if it fits in the keywords of what I put in, it might be something that I don't really want on my site. So it gives me an opportunity to sort of, take those out, remove them, you know, uh, add additional content and reviews. Sometimes I'll add additional posts,
Hmm.
where I'll just write my own review on a topic or a book, or I'll go ahead and I'll pick up a book that's featured on my site and then talk about why I like that book. And I
So
think that's what kind of makes,
sometimes you'll add in original content yourself. You'll go in and you'll put a
yeah,
completely
or me
original
or
story.
somebody on my team, right? Exactly.
Okay, so what's the difference between this and, say, an auto blogging software, no, not, what is it? There's a autoblog robot or something. There's tons of
Right.
these
Yeah, there's different ones. And
plugins.
I think that, with auto blogging is great. I mean, I love auto blogging because just like everybody else that likes the concept of auto blogging, I don't have necessarily the time
Hmm.
to cultivate a blog, and I don't have the time to invest into a blog to the point where, I can write all complete original posts
Hmm.
and things like that. However, the problem with auto blogging is, getting rankings and things like that,
Yeah.
as well as providing content that your users, there's plenty of ways that, you can build blogs that are not really dependent on rankings. You
Hmm.
could get traffic and things like that through methods that don't really take rankings into consideration. But, with that, you still have to have good content and you still have to have a good concept for whatever your blog is, where
Hmm.
people are going to come in and not just be like, "Oh, this is just a junk blog," or
Yeah.
"This is just sort of a waste of bandwidth on the internet," or whatever. So I love auto blogging. So it's sort of the types of tools that I like to create are ones that take automated features, but still have room to create a somewhat original piece of work into it, which is why the curation sort of elements worked into its way into this particular project.
Okay, I got a few questions for you.
Uh-huh.
A or one, are these posts, are these curated posts getting indexed by Google? Two, are they getting traffic from Google? Are they ranking, getting traffic? And three, what was the third? I don't remember the third one. So one and two, are they getting indexed and are they bringing in traffic?
Well, my own particular methods of marketing oftentimes bypass Google. Like I try to find ways to market my blogs outside of Google, and a lot of times indexing is sort of a secondary thing that
Hmm.
happens. I have several sites that rank number one on the keywords, the main keywords for my site, and that's great. I do get a lot of traffic from that. However, it wasn't what I sought to do,
Mm.
intentionally or by intention. So, when I come up with an idea for a blog, I usually try to think of, well, how can this blog be marketed easily and with little effort
Hmm.
and in a manner where people that come to my site may want to come to it again? And a lot of times that might not necessarily mean only, content driven, like I have to have the best content out there. A
Hmm.
lot of times it's just what the content is. If you're cataloging items or products that are not grouped together in one place anywhere else on the internet,
Hmm.
then people are going to keep coming back to your site regardless.
If you're providing
So,
value.
right, exactly. So, do the pages get indexed? Yes, they
Hmm.
do get indexed. As far as how well they get indexed and what the rankings are when they do get indexed, I'd probably have to get another user of the plugin to come in and answer on that particular
Okay.
sort of question, because that's not really my typical method of marketing anyway, because I hate relying on Google. I don't know if other people are like that too, because Google changes their algorithms just
Yeah.
without notice. And then I have clients that that build their entire business models on Google and Google rankings.
Hmm.
And they make a lot of money. I've built sites that they've flipped for over six figures just
Hmm.
based on their rankings. But the thing about it that bothers me is that within a drop of a hat, your rankings could be gone, and so could that
And
six-figure value of the website that you had a number one ranking for
mhm.
some really competitive keyword, and then it's gone.
And then the
And
traffic's gone, and when the traffic leaves, the money
yeah,
leaves.
and that's your entire business model. So in good faith, I could never recommend other people to build their entire business on that. Now,
Mm.
given that I have hundreds of sites, do any of my sites completely rely on Google traffic? Sure. I
Yeah.
probably do have, it wasn't designed that way by intention, but that's
Hmm.
sort of what it ended up being. But as a rule of thumb, I hate relying on Google. I can't, I have a kid, I can't really, I can't build a business model on somebody else's, algorithms that I don't have any control over.
I agree with you on that. Okay, so these sites that you're making are obviously you're going to be putting your Amazon affiliate code on there, and when people click on the links on the sites and they go to Amazon, any purchases they make, not just specifically the products that you're promoting, any purchases they make, you're going to get
Right.
an affiliate commission for. Now,
That's right.
how much are you making from this right now?
Well, it ranges. It really depends on the type of site that you make. Okay, so I'll give you an idea. One of the sites that I made, and the good thing is if you have a good topic and a good niche and you have just even the smallest marketing medium
Hmm.
to push the site into, then you can potentially just start making money right away. And when I say start making money, it oftentimes starts slow.
Of
You know,
course.
there's no, the times that I've hit on something where, it made like a massive amount of money right away. It faded fast too, in my experience, So for me, to have sites that make a few dollars a day and to multiply that effort, by
Hmm.
100 or whatever over time is is sort of what my philosophy is. And at this point, I have over 100 sites. Do they all make over $1 a day? No, but do they
Hmm.
collectively make enough money where I can consider that portfolio an asset? Yes.
Okay.
What I try to do, I just made a product about this, about how I create dollar a day sites, which $1 a day is not really all that much. But the reason that I tried to just get it up to the dollar a day point is because it's easy to get to and it's easy to retain over a period of time. I have sites that I've made over $1 a day on for many years. And the idea behind it was, when my parents just recently got to retirement age and,
Hmm.
just kind of hearing from them what they have to go through to figure out, what their finances are and things like that. It's a challenge. It's a
Yeah.
challenge when you get to be older. And, I don't have a job obviously because I work for myself. I don't offer myself a pension, so I don't
Yeah.
have a pension check that I can count on. Can I count on Social Security? That's up in the air. They
Yeah.
say that by the time we get to be of the age of collecting Social Security, it may not even be in
Yeah.
existence anymore. So what am I building that I can be like, okay, on top of that, I told you I have an offline business. I
Hmm.
work hard. Even though
Yeah.
I work for myself, I work hard. So there is going to come a time where I'm not going to be able to work the way that I work now. So I'm
Hmm.
going to have to depend on these autopilot type of sites that I've created. And the way that I see it, these autopilot sites are most valuable and they have the most traction when you allow them to develop over time.
Hmm.
The sites that I created in 2008 and 2009, they consistently make money every day. And I don't even really do a whole lot with them. I mean, if you pull up any of these sites, the last post probably was from like 2010, maybe.
Hmm.
Every once in a while I'll go on a spurt and I'll, get some content and, code it in there,
Yeah.
into schedule it in there to just, update every few weeks with a new thing. But for the most part, I don't do that. So my own philosophy on building my web library, especially these autopilot type of sites, is I'm just really looking to make like, $30 a month off of the site.
Yep.
And I want it to be where it takes minimal effort so that when I get to that point of not being able to work, I'm going to have a library of sites that could be like, wow, I still make, five, six, $700 a month
Hmm.
doing nothing. And that's sort of the goal, and it's kind of a long-term plan for me. So in my own efforts, I make 10 sites a year,
Okay.
which is and that's in addition to building Kindle libraries. I'm also trying to do the same thing with Kindle,
Hmm.
trying to build up my Kindle royalties and things like that, my publishing projects, my offline projects. I have a lot of projects, and I think a lot of people that work in this industry do. They have a lot of different interests and different things that they
Hmm.
like to do. So that's sort of my goal. And how long does it take for me to get to that level using this plugin? There's some some niches that I've identified that I've been able to get to that level within less than a month.
So it's okay. I had to digest all of this that you've just given me, but from what you're saying is you've got your, like I said before, you've got your hands in a lot of things, and you're really focusing on diversifying your streams of income coming in. You've got your Amazon sites, your Kindle books, your offline, and the original question was how much money should people expect to be making from this? From what it sounds like, it's not going to come in quickly, but if you keep on working at it and you keep on building your sites, it's like anything else. It's you got to put in the time, you got to put in the effort. But this AutoZone bot plugin is not a it's not a magic button, but it's a tool to make it maybe easier to do the whole curated content itself,
Right.
rather than going out and having to paste and copy and spin and blah blah blah. It kind of you enter in your blurbs of original content, it goes out, it pulls other content and kind of spins it up a little bit, and you use that. Am I understanding that correctly?
Sort of. I mean, you say you build like 10 segments of content,
Mm-hmm.
then it will randomly pick one of the content pieces from your library, and it doesn't have to be 10. You could have up to 1,000 if you wanted to.
Mm-hmm.
It'll randomly pick one, and then it'll inject it into the post, in the place where you select it, and it could pick up to two posts or two pieces of content, I'm sorry,
Okay.
from your library. And then, as to whether this can be an instant thing, I've heard of people that, like say you have a site in a niche, we'll just pick any random niche in the relationship
Mm-hmm.
niche. You already have a ton of traffic coming to it, et cetera, et cetera. This could be a site that you build that just catalogs relationship related books.
Okay.
And then you solicit that to the market that you already have, with your other site. And
Mm-hmm.
then, through that method, you can make a lot more than $1 a day. And I've heard of people and I've helped people that, set up their plugin and stuff that was driving a lot of traffic to it already through other sites that they have and making a lot of money that way.
Okay.
So if you're starting from ground zero and starting from scratch, that's sort of what I want to relay that, it takes, and when I say that it takes work, the work that it takes is not necessarily in the site building
Mm-hmm.
aspect of it, because I've built this site using this plugin, in like 6 minutes. It really doesn't take that much time. However, if you're looking to, really market the site
Mm-hmm.
and really put the time into driving traffic to it,
Yeah.
that's what I'm saying. You have to allow the time for it if you're starting from ground zero. If
Exactly.
you already have sites in existence that are getting traffic, then you may want to build a site that's in a related niche or that's related to that you can
Mm-hmm.
kind of cross traffic to and from, between the two sites, because
Mm-hmm.
a site using this plugin can draw a lot of traffic. And this plugin has a theme on the OTO, and the theme is actually it's a theme that I designed, and it's specifically designed for e-commerce. So
Okay. So
it's
that's
like,
the one time offer is a
yeah,
theme.
yeah. So on top of that, we've offered a FiberGig where if you want to get the plugin and you don't want to deal with, putting the plugin together yourself or
Mm-hmm.
installing it on your site, my staff will do it for you for $5.
Oh.
So, we've had a lot of people take advantage of
Mm-hmm.
that because, being a person that's just coming into a new plugin,
Mm-hmm.
you have to, put in the time in learning how it works and things like that. And even though I've strived to make this really easy, it's still a little bit of a learning curve that sometimes people would rather just pay the $5 to get the site set up for them and give us their login credentials, and then we just set it all up.
You sent me a
So
link. You sent me a link before this interview to an example site. Was that from AutoZonebot or was that something else?
yeah, and that's actually using the theme that's on the OTO.
Okay,
And it's
I'll link
very
up to that
inexpensive.
I'll link up to that under the show notes. An idea that comes to my head that if I were to use the plugin is that I could, I'm in the online marketing niche, so I could uh, use that to make a separate site, a small separate site, and link it up to online marketing books where
Right,
it could generate lists and of all these different online marketing books, and it could automatically do it for me, and then I could just send my
right,
readers there and make some
right.
extra affiliate commissions
Make
off
some
of
extra cash.
um,
And you will, because
that.
what'll happen is people will click through, and then just like you said earlier, you'll make a commission off of anything they buy
Yeah.
on Amazon. So they don't have to necessarily buy one of those books. So all the different projects that you have or your readers have,
Hmm.
put it in your signature file.
Hmm.
Just having the site in your signature file for, get look at the latest books on this topic, at this link, and just people clicking through and just the curiosity clicks are going
Yeah.
to cookie them, and then you'll make money that way as well. So
I think one of the
that
funniest things, sorry, I think one of the funniest things is when you do have that Amazon is that I remember I was sending people through my affiliate link for iPads or something, and they were buying the weirdest things, like all these different movies or different
right.
toys and stuff, and I'm like, what? Okay, like this is an interesting thing to buy along with your iPad, but go ahead, whatever you need. If you need new sponges, if you
Right,
need new
right.
sponges for your kitchen, you can also get that along with your iPad. But yeah, it is
Why
interesting
not,
what
right?
people yeah, when they fill up their cart with stuff and they want to get their cart to a certain level so that they get free shipping or whatever.
Right, exactly.
Cool. Well, yeah, this seems like something that you had built because of a need maybe for yourself. Was this something that you were doing
Yeah,
before
I
and
would say
then
so.
so you were doing this
Definitely.
you were doing this without the plugin before and then you said, "Hey, I can use this. Maybe other people will be able to use this as well."
Somewhat, yeah. I mean, I built the plugin. The plugin actually started. It's been something that I've been using just on a personal. I have a lot of plugins that I've just made for my own personal use,
Mm-hmm.
and it started off as a plugin that I used for my own use, and I just sort of built on it and built on it and built on it. And then when Hannah and I were talking,
Mm-hmm.
it was sort of an idea that she had for a plugin. I'm like, well, I kind of have something that I've made that's similar to that. And when I showed it to her, she really liked it, and it was something that we just sort of was like, well, why don't we package it for a commercial? Packaging it for commercial means, just putting the title on it, putting the credits and things like that, and kind of cleaning it up a little bit.
Yeah, yeah.
Definitely, I would say a lot of the plugins that I've made that have either been, products that I've sold
Mm-hmm.
or been items that have been put into, as bonuses on different info products that I've had are all things that I've used or have created because I needed it, for my own purposes.
So my last question for you, I like to ask this to most of my guests, is who have you been your biggest influences when it comes to online marketing and sales?
Oh my gosh, who have been in what aspect of online marketing? That
I
would
don't know,
be
some
the question. I mean,
different blogs that you read, something that I can link out to. It's different. I don't know if you were going to ask me the same question. I would say my influences are AdSense flippers or uh, I don't know, Spencer Hawes from Niche Pursuits,
yeah,
Pat
there's
Flynn. A
so
lot of
many
people
of them.
say, yeah, give me one or
Yeah.
two. There must be one or two that you can get.
I really like, the community at large is what I would say. I love
Mm.
like when I have time to just read and look at what people are doing. I go to the Warrior Forum and I just
Okay.
look at the general conversations that are taking place there. I think just people that in general they have great ideas and just being able to jump into the dialogue and conversations that take place there on, different topics that I enjoy. And I like the Warrior Forum because you could tell from talking to me that
Mm.
I have interests in a lot of different things,
Yeah.
publishing, Kindle, online marketing, offline marketing, and that's why I really like kind of spending time on the Warrior Forum because there's people from all walks of marketing and promotion that come there and congregate and
Hmm.
talk about different things that are of interest to them, usually of which all of it is of interest to me.
Yeah. Okay. So what I'm hearing is you're kind of your influence is coming from the community pulse, and you kind of
Pretty
go in
much,
there
yeah.
and feel what's going on and kind of absorb all that you can
Right.
and then go with that.
Pretty much, yeah. I really like hearing about the successes of people as well as what their challenges are. When I kind of a lot of times I'll relate to the challenge. I'll be like, yeah, that is a challenge for me too. And then it sort of gets my wheels turning on, how can we make that easier?
Oh, cool. Well, Lina, thank you so much for coming on the show today. If people want to get in contact with you, uh, where can they find you?
My personal website is at marketingwithlina.com,
Okay.
and they can also email me at marketingwithlina@gmail.com.
Perfect. Well, again, thank you so much for coming on the show, and I'm glad I finally caught up with you.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Hey guys, I really hope you enjoyed the interview today with Lina. Make sure you go out and check out her AutoZone bot. There'll be a link underneath the show notes. Also, you should go ahead and check out my AdSense starter sites for sale. There's plenty of great ones on there that you can go ahead and build a website on top of. And also, make sure to check out marketingwithlina.com. That's Lina's personal site and business site where she talks about all the things that she's doing online. Anyways, for next time, I'll see you tomorrow.